Hey guys, um, we thought we'd do a little cosplay togs and all things nerdy podcast mini. So we are over in France at the minute, as most of you probably guessed from the stories. After visiting the amazing Focus Cosplay. Um, so yeah, we just thought we'd do a very, very small wash up from the event. We'll do a full sort of podcast episode at a later date regarding this event. But yeah, we just thought we'd give a little brief chat about what we've been up to and what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just giving a bit of a initial reaction, really. See what my thoughts are. I mean, we've talked heavily about the event during the event because obviously we're here. But yeah, I think from my point of view, being the fact that it was my first European con, but also my first European photo con, it was a very different experience, massively different, but in a good way because it's. I suppose we need to really explain a little bit more about sort of how it works, I think.
Yeah, so for any of you that know, Focus is a European photocon, similar to the likes of Volta, Picbecia, Pixelmania. They're all a sort of very similar style, very similar process. So they are usually arranged by people in the cosplay community, and they are an event that are largely multiple venues and locations around a geographical area. They are photographer and cosplayer based. So none of your sort of general convention type activities. And there's a huge sort of social aspect, lots of forward planning, amazing cosplayers, amazing photographers, just there to get together and create fantastic art, really.
I think it's also creating fantastic art, but in a wide range of different locations in and around an area. So Focus, as you could tell from our stories, if you've been looking at them, we're over in France at the moment. So I think the maximum distance, I think we calculated that by one of the most furthest locations from the
40 miles,
about 40
kilometers, something like that.
It's about an hour's drive roughly, but I think we shot what 12 of them in shoot.
Yeah, so 4 the first day, 3 the second, 4
the last.
So yeah,
but we shot in 2 locations twice. Over that 12 shoots, so we were in 10 different locations over the weekend, and I don't think we made the running joke for the whole thing is like, how long is it going to take us to the next one? Oh, it's half an hour.
Yeah, apart from the odd one or two, they are generally within around half an hour travel. You need a car generally for these sort of events. I know some people that have managed these events without a car, just by relying on lifts, and a lot of the events do run what they call a taxi service, so we'll have people that help to sort of ferry people around. But for me personally, I feel it will be almost impossible without a car. So generally, I tend to attend the events with an assistant stroke driver. So Tom was kindly offered to attend this one with me after I was lucky enough to be accepted for the event. And yeah, this is my 3rd photocon now. So Focus is generally around the September time. I attended Picbecia back in June this year in Switzerland, and Volta last year in May. And it's safe to say I'm really loving this style of events. Obviously, a lot of you know I'm quite a fan of Photocons anyway, with Secret Con and things like that. But this is, for me, it's a real challenge. It really, I don't tend to shoot just the types of cosplays that suit my style. I like to push outside of my comfort zone. If I'm in another country and I've got such fantastic locations to work with, then why not take advantage and push outside of my comfort zone to shoot with things that I might not normally shoot with? And it, generally by and large, it really pays off. I've shot with some amazing people this weekend. Made some amazing new contacts. The cosplayers here this weekend really brought their A game.
Really did.
Everyone is so friendly, so polite. They just want to shoot content, create art, and have fun.
It's quite a fun process. I think from a new person coming into it's quite a fun process. Always, it's not like, yes, you're prepping your cosplay for like an MCM or MegaCon or something like that, and you just, you turn up. Yeah, there obviously people do plan shoots for these events, like for MegaCon and MCM and stuff, but for the likes of Focus and stuff like that, you will have a lot of pre-planning before the event, because you have to do different locations, you have to add in your times to get to places, but also enough time and working in the time parameters that you want to work in. And that's the important part, is like what you are capable of doing, because it is down to how you want to manage your time and who you want to shoot with. So you might say there's so many photographers, but you might not be able to shoot with everybody because of timings.
Yeah, so there's generally months of planning that goes into this. I got my acceptance email back in May whilst I was away at MCM London. And then literally everyone sort of goes out the gates planning with photographers and cosplayers. By the time I got back, there were many people that were already fully booked, because it is just everyone's trying to get planning and get started as soon as they can, because there's just so much thought and effort that goes into the shoots. And you're planning, what cosplay you might want to shoot with that cosplay. Then you're looking at locations and you're matching that up. You're looking at the logistics and where it is to allow timings between the shoots, and that is the part that I still find it a little bit difficult, sort of planning that location, logistics, allowing time between them, because sometimes it can really catch you out.
Oh yeah.
And not just us, cosplayers as well. There's a few times this weekend that we were late to shoots, or the cosplayers we were shooting with were late to shoots. Sometimes we were early. That's just the way it is. But everyone is so friendly that if you're a little bit late, it's fine. You just communicate and let them know. And yeah, it's fine. They do the same with you. It really is a very, very different way of working. It's almost like doing 11 or 12 out of con shoots across a weekend. They're not like convention shoots. They are, there's so much planning.
They're also very different to like Secret Con as well.
Definitely.
If you're looking at it from a UK perspective, we're looking at it maybe like, planning an out of con studio shoot or a location shoot, something like that. Now, I would highly recommend something like this to the UK market to come out and try one of these events, because I'd never done one of these before. And I can tell you what, I wasn't a photographer's event. I was, as Darren said, I came out and joined him as an assistant. So all round bitch, cook, chauffeur, lighting aids, you name it. But the experience alone is so much fun, because you're meeting new contacts, new people, you're seeing incredible different venues you just don't get anywhere else. And quite frankly, it's a nice sort of environment, because it is basically you're doing a location shoot in different areas around the place. There was probably so many more locations we could potentially have gone to.
There's so many locations that we didn't use.
We couldn't go to, just purely because you got 3 days. And you think 3 days is really plenty of time, but actually your days go really
you can only fit in a set amount of cosplayers as well. Like, every one of my shoots was between 1.5 and 2 hours. I didn't have any shoots that were scheduled to be less than an hour and a half. It's not like Secret Con or other Photocons in the UK where you can just wander around and pick up shoots as you go. Everything is planned in advance.
I mean, to a point you can.
Yeah, so
to a point.
So you can pick up cancellations, but you can't just wander around and catch people and go, can we shoot? It's not that kind of event. Everything is pre-planned. Initially I had 4 on the Friday, 3 on the Saturday. I left the Saturday morning free for being a bit of a tourist. And on the Sunday, I had 3 planned, 1 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon. my morning slot, unfortunately, I had to cancel due to her no longer being able to attend the event, which is absolutely fine. Things happen, and unfortunate circumstances. And I was a bit undecided whether to leave the morning slot free to be a tourist again or fill the slot. Tom said to me on the Friday evening after we'd been shooting that, maybe put it out there in the Focus Discord group. They have a special section for last minute for people that have got cancellations. It quite simply said, well, you're out here, you might regret it if you don't. So I decided to, within a few minutes, I had one person message me that I'd already shot with on the Friday because we'd had such an amazing shoot, saying, would you like to shoot this cosplay with me on the Sunday? Straight away jumped at the chance. Absolutely stunning cosplay.
Well, both the cosplays she did
were
just very different.
Very different.
But
yeah. And then a few minutes later, the assistant of another cosplayer messaged me to say, oh, my cosplayer has a free slot. We'd really like to shoot with you. So I actually picked up 2 slots on the Sunday morning. The second slot that I picked up on the Sunday morning was very, very not me. Very not my style. Someone that I'd not communicated with. At the point of arranging the shoot, I was still only speaking to their assistant. So it was a bit of a wild card. And when we turned up to the shoot on the Sunday morning, the cosplayer arrived. She was feeling very unwell. She'd picked up a bug or a cold or flu or something. Bless her. And she, we spoke at the time. I said, look, if you want to cancel, it's absolutely fine. But she soldiered on, and you could tell she was struggling between shots. But every time we were doing a shot, it was like a game, and it was really, it just really brought home the passion and dedication that these people have out here. And it was just really fantastic when we created some amazing shots. But I also want to say that the organisers for this event,
it's no small feat what they've accomplished.
They have so many locations that they scout beforehand. They've spent a lot of time networking, arranging locations, building relationships. Some of the locations, they have people on site to help you, to show you around, to tell you the rules and do's and don'ts. Some of the locations they don't at all, and you just sort of turn up and shoot.
And you just do your thing.
And then obviously they have a HQ base setup where they have people on site all the time, and you can go and buy little bits and pieces or ask questions. They have an area where you can get food and drink or sit and chill and network.
We find it quite useful at the end of the day, to make an effort to go back to the HQ at the end of the day, and just chill, have that unwind for about a few minutes, and then you might end up having a chat with cosplayers you shot with throughout the day, or seeing friends. We were lucky enough. That James and Harry were out here as well.
Yeah, JRE cosplay photography
and. Moxie, is it Moxie?
Miss Moxie.
Anyway, James and Harry is James with the always recognisable red flannel. Also likes to drop his lights. That one,
and bash his other half out.
Wasn't going to go. But anyway, so James came out as well. So it was really nice the fact that he was out here, and some of the stuff that he got was obviously very different to what he would normally do, but also very different than yourself. And he can potentially, as well, I don't want to say potentially, he has come back with some absolutely fantastic stuff. And it's a crazy, I want to say crazy in a very good way, because it sort of invigorates that sort of drive and that passion and that love for it all that we all enjoyed in the first place. So it would be nice to see more UK cosplayers coming out that comfort zone of, I'm not good enough. And UK photographers, yes, sorry. Just come out of the comfort zone and go, I'm going to apply and see what happens. Because I 100% will recommend something like this to the UK side of things.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something that we would be able to run in the UK, just purely because of locations. It's potential there.
Never say never.
Never say never. There is potential areas within the UK to do something very similar to this.
But I think where Europe has it really nicely is they have an abundance of amazing locations within a relatively small geographical locations.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of UK venues, I think, almost prohibits doing this style of events. And I mean, this was my first time in France. Safe to say it won't be my last. It's really beautiful here. The area we stayed in was fantastic. The locations, it's just stunning.
To put it into perspective of, because I know the question is going to be financial, it's going to be cost perspective. Like, okay, you're talking about all these great things and blah, blah, blah. But realistically, how much it's going to cost? Well, when we worked out, it's actually cheaper to come.
Well, if we break it down, like the passes themselves, the entrance to the event, I think, is about €35 for the photographer, and the same for the assistant. My flight out here, because I booked extra luggage, so we flew with Ryanair from London Stansted to Tours, which is a fantastic journey and a really easy airport to fly into.
It's an hour and a half, is that 1 hour, 5-minute flight?
Yeah.
So quick, so easy.
We got off the plane, and within 15 minutes we were outside the airport.
I don't think it was even 15
so quick.
I don't think it was even 15 minutes.
And I paid my flight out here was like £17 return. But then I had my 20-kilo hold luggage, my under seat bag, and I also paid for an overhead bag because camera gear. So in total, I think it was about 160 quid return. Our apartment in Amboise, a really stunning 2-bedroom apartment set in an old converted barn, was £330 from Thursday to Monday. Car hire was about 180 quid.
Yeah.
Really quick and easy. Fuel, I think we got through about 55 quid.
I think it came just above €60,
and we did about 650 kilometers, something like that.
But we had quarter of a tank left by the end of the weekend. We didn't even have to fill up during the weekend.
Food and drink is relatively cheap. There's Aldi's, there's Lidl's, there's Carrefour supermarkets. We on Thursday night we went and spent about 40-50 quid each in the local supermarket, in the local Aldi.
So water, drink, food.
Yeah, exactly. And that pretty much did us for the majority of the weekend. We've still got a few bits and bobs left.
Yeah.
So, you add all that up, and you are, in all seriousness, looking for, and then we dropped the car off today back in Tours, and we stayed an extra night in Tours today. So it's a separate apartment, which was another 115 quid between the two of us.
Well, that was just the choice that we decided we wanted to have a look around this area.
Exactly.
And that was our choice.
I mean, I will say also that was governed by the fact as Ryanair only flying on a Tuesday. Yeah. It is a small airport. But all in all, it costs less than a weekend at MCM.
Yeah. I think it was actually less than a hotel for an MCM weekend, and that's for
the other option,
5 days.
The other option is the option that James took, which was to drive over. If you go from Portsmouth, you can get the ferry over, which is about 150 quid plus a small amount for a cabin. It's a 6-hour crossing and then a 3-hour drive. So you do save a little bit of money, but when you add it all up with fuel, you probably don't save a huge amount.
I think he was also in the town where the HQ was, and I think his accommodation came in
just over 400.
Just 400. And again, they went today, which is a Monday, so they came in Thursday, the same day as us. The ferry
today.
They've got and they left today. So they've got accommodation. We've got ours 5 days. They got theirs 4 days, and that's a 400.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it from a relative of an expense, this event happens once a year.
I mean, you're basically talking under £1,000.
Yeah.
To come to an event like this, and that's including all your food, all your drink, your event passes, your hotel, your accommodation, your flights, your car, your fuel.
It as cheap as you want it to be,
and you could do it cheaper. but it's a fantastic experience, and the amount of content you come away with. I mean, I'm still posting stuff from last year's Volta, and I've still got PicVision to finish editing.
And now you've got Focus.
And now I've got this to edit. If I did those 3 events every year, content wise, I would not need to attend a single other event. It's as simple as that. And the amount of amazing people you meet in fantastic locations just makes it worth it.
You also make great connections with other people within another country. So I think we shot mostly with the French during this trip, but we then also had someone from the Netherlands. We also had someone from Switzerland that we worked with, which is great. I think something I want to touch on, and I know you've touched on it before, is assistance. Not just assistance for photographers, but for assistance for cosplayers. Now, in an event like this, you don't necessarily need one, but highly recommend it.
But they are encouraged as well. Like it's normalized over here.
It is.
I said I couldn't manage this event without an assistant, not just from a driver perspective. You know, it's handy to, even if I could drive, it's handy to have someone driving. So you're messaging, planning ahead with whatever. In an evening while I'm downloading backing up my shots, Tom's planning all the logistics for the next day, where we're going, what the timings are, you know, are there any road closures, looking on Google Maps, etc., etc. Also from the lighting perspective, you know, placing lights, moving lights, grabbing lenses. We left something back at the car. Can you go and grab that? You know, all things that if you were shooting solo, you would have to keep stopping and breaking shooting to move things around, and it really eats up into that time. Yesterday, our second shoot, the wildcard shoot that I picked up, was probably one of the most stunning locations that I've ever shot in.
So,
and the cosplayer and the cosplay just suited that location so well that I could have quite easily spent the whole day there just shooting that cosplay. And we were shooting for an hour and a half.
But there's another bonus to this, especially when we now jump from a photographer point and we jump to a cosplayer point for an assistant. Some of the best things that I think I saw was, it's not just the fact that the cosplayer has someone to help out with hair or the costume if the costume needs a little bit of a tweak, but you've got someone else with another set of eyes to support with a pose or idea, or even helping with a light. If I'm, say, as the photographer's assistant, having to run back to go do something else, they can then also be there to support there as well. But also manage a lot of other bits and pieces for the cosplay. Like we were saying, you know, the plan, like Darren was having a conversation with yesterday with the assistant of the cosplayer. So she was the one arranging the shoot. With Darren, they sorted it all out, and then actually didn't really talk to the cosplayer until you actually met. So yeah, it is useful to have because you've then got a core network of people that are all around to collaborate and make something great. Because we had assistants coming up with ideas for poses. We had assistants coming up with ideas with where can we go at this location. Also coming out with mood boards with things as well.
So one of the things I find quite a bit, and it happened a lot during this weekend, is quite often when I'm shooting, the assistant is standing near me, sometimes over my shoulder. They ask, they're respectful. Because quite often what I find is I shoot using, at these type of events, I generally barely use the EVF. I shoot with my screen out. And then not only I can see,
it's the thing,
the thing, So I use the screen, and then when I'm taking the shot, the assistant is behind me looking at the screen, because what the camera sees is not what the eye sees. So the assistant is looking at the screen of my camera to say to the cosplayer, right, can you move your hand up a bit? Move your hand down a bit? Can you move your hand? Can you tuck your hip in? Can you do this? Can you do that? Or quite simply, that looks fantastic.
So helpful.
You take the shot, and the cosplay assistant is like, yeah, that's amazing, you know, and then you move on to the next pose. then the cosplayer knows then he or she or they are okay to just literally move on to the next pose and move around or the next idea. And it really helps it to flow, as well as carrying bags and again going back to the car and moving lights,
or taking a prop or supporting with a prop or anything. So it's
and repairs.
Repair. They would. Yeah, we had that. We had a couple of cosplayers having to need to do repairs on site.
It happens.
And I think we had it on the. So we had it a few times, but one that sticks out is kind of like on Saturday night. It was late. It was dark. We were outside this beautiful chateau across the river, area, full on armor. The cosplayer wasn't able to actually bend to get to that part, so they were re-gluing parts of the armor back on whilst we were setting up for the next shot.
Yeah, it's just we need to normalize using assistants more in the UK. I've seen the value in it since Volta, and I've done it. I used to do it a little bit before Volta with friends, but I've done it more and more since. And then Picvisha, and then now, and it's so useful. But yeah, so we just wanted to do that quick little roundup. We are going to do a full episode, I think, on Focus Cosplay, and potentially general European Photocons soon. So we're probably going to be reaching out to a couple of European cosplayers that were at Focus this weekend, and also potentially like to get a photographer involved in the episode. Just to chat about his or her their views, their experience, how you can go about it, the application process, what you can do to give yourself the best chance of being accepted. I mean, these events, they are limited. Some people would say, elitist, but it is purely they have to be selected based on the number of spaces that they have available. And I know that we've said there's a lot of locations, but you don't want locations cramped and, for this kind of thing. So they try to get variation, and it's not just based on follower count. I've shot with people this weekend that have thousands and thousands of followers, and I've shot with people this weekend that have a few hundred. So it's not based on that. It's about, based on varied types of cosplay that suit the locations, and the quality and the passion, really. So we're going to be reaching out to people over the next few days to record an episode at some time in the next few weeks. But if you do see this and you are interested, please feel free to reach out to us if you were at Focus at the weekend, particularly if you were someone we shot with. That'd be fantastic to get your take on things. And we'll talk more about it.
Definitely. I think it's a good experience, and it's something that I would love to see more UK cosplayers and photographers get involved in. It's different, but in a very good way. It's not like it's different in a negative negative way.
It's a very different way of working from a photographer's perspective. It's a much slower way of working. Like the events are intense, the shoots are intense, but at these events, it's not just you get home, you edit, you post. No, like I've been getting back and I've been looking on my tablet and I've been doing some base preview edits, but like UK events, I'll be going back to my hotel or apartment, editing, posting. European events, that's just not the norm. You go back, you look at your images, then you send the images to the cosplayer and you have a back and forth conversation about which ones you might select.
Also, which ones they prefer.
Which ones they prefer. Things they like, they don't like, and you work together on the edits, and then you post when everyone is satisfied. It's a much more collaborative process. It's a much nicer way of working, I feel, as well. But it is a learning curve. It's very different to the UK, and quite a welcome way of working, I feel.
Everyone was also very welcoming in it as well. And that was, I think for me, it was like, oh my God, we're coming over to France. We're going to struggle with language barriers. But even when we did struggle with language barriers, there's always
a way of working around it.
Around it. And the thing is, we got there, and to be honest, it didn't actually take much time for a lot of them. And
no, not at all.
It was really,
not at all.
There was a lot of laughter and
you establish a way of working right at the very start and what's going to work for you during the shoot.
All I can say is, as a British person, don't be too sarcastic or banter, because they don't understand. As I found out,
that's just your sense of humor.
It was mine. Yes, we did a group shoot, and the girl's like, cosplayers at the front, photographers in the middle, assistants at the back, and I just went, "Oh, that's just rude." And she went, "I didn't write the rules." I was like, "I'm just messing with you. It's fine." But that's my that's just
you banged from Focus now.
Yes, I'm never coming. I won't be able to come back. I hope to come back, because I want to apply next year.
But yeah, so it is. I love the different way of working. I love the fact that it really challenges me and pushes me. But it also makes me want to travel more.
Yeah.
I visited Volta. I want to go back to the area. I visited Picbisha, and I want to go back to Switzerland at some point. We visited here, and we really want to come back here. It's a very cost-effective place. It's a very beautiful place.
And there's a lot of things very close by as well.
Yeah.
So even if we decided to come back just to do our own bits and pieces, it's a relatively cheap flight to get over. Car rental, and get that, and we can just go off. And there's so many cool locations within where the airport is.
Yeah.
Within about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I think there's about 20 odd different locations you can go to if you scout them.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So yeah.
Thank you to the Focus organisers.
The Focus team.
I feel deeply honoured to have been accepted for this event. And I would truly love to come back again next year if you'll have me. Although if you accept this guy, I might need to find a new assistant.
If not, then I'm back as an assistant, and I will be jealous as fuck as per this year.
Thank you also to all the cosplayers that I worked with over the weekend. You brought your A game. I truly hope I've done you justice. And thank you to anyone that just stopped to say hi and have a chat. Apologies to anyone I missed. But yeah, we'll definitely be talking more about this topic soon. Yeah. I look forward to editing my shots and sharing them. And yeah.
No, definitely.
More on this topic soon.
Definitely. It's something we want to talk about more.
Okay.
Yeah. So next time.
Yeah, this has been Cosplay Togs and all things nerdy with our little first mini episode. Chatting about... I nearly do. Yeah. Chatting about Focus Cosplay.
You get this really cool badge.
Yeah, that's something else I want to touch on before we go. Like, how cool are these?
Like, they come with mine's assistant, and it has my username on there. The Focus.
Just so useful. So useful.
So cool.
But thanks, guys.
Wood as well.
Yeah. Like,
wood.
Really good. So thanks, guys. Really don't want to go home. Really don't want the event to end, but it has to.
In a few days, we have, as of recording this, we will be at
MegaCon Farnborough in a few days.
What's it? Monday to Tuesday, so what? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah.
So 4 days.
We'll see you all soon. Take care. And yeah, that's it from us.
Live from action location for once.
Yeah. And in the same room.
Yeah. Not on camera in multiple places. This is part of our lovely establishment for the evening.
Okay. See you soon.